Hey, you guys, we have a lot of stuff coming in and happening next week. And so I wanted to speak to it, sort of make a little heads up video, if you will. And I'm in bed. So I'm making this video from bed, which is very fitting because we are talking about a lot of Cancer, the astrological sign of Cancer, which rules things like the bed and fluffy pillows and comfort and coziness. So let's drop into what's happening next week. Well, the first thing we have coming in is a Mercury retrograde. Amidst all the other shit that we're dealing with, now we have Mercury retrograde setting in. This particular retrograde is starting on Thursday. What's the date? June 17th. And it's going to go from 14 degrees of Cancer all the way back to 5 degrees of Cancer. So take note, especially if you are a Cancer, a Capricorn, an Aries, or a Libra, because this particular retrograde and the solar eclipse, which I'm going to speak about afterwards, is going to have a big impact on you guys, on the cardinal signs. So Mercury retrograde in Cancer, it's going to go from June 17th until July 12th. And this is a time where any retrograde, we move backwards into reflection and visiting the past and closing up any unfinished business. And when it has to do with Cancer, we're looking at emotional business. We're looking at relationships with our inner circle, our family, with connections of the heart that we're kind of going back and revisiting a little bit. And it gives us a chance to really drop into emotional conversations, feeling conversations, which isn't very comfortable for everybody. Mercury in Cancer, especially if you were born with this, these are the people that communicate through feeling. They almost grab onto the emotion behind the words rather than the words being said. They remember the mood of the conversation more so than what was literally being said, being spoken. So we're moving into the world of feeling, into the world of depth a little bit more, and sensitivities are going to be up. We also tend to take things more personally when Mercury is in Cancer, especially when it's retrograding, and we become more defensive. Cancers do take things personally. You do, Cancer. They take things personally. They let it fester inside them, they chew on it, and then the defensiveness comes in, right? So we have that to deal with as well. So taking note of that and checking in with yourself when you are finding yourself being defensive, when you find yourself taking everything personal, it's a good thing to learn around letting go of that and trying to detach from the personal aspects a little bit in a healthy way, healthy detachment. So we're moving through that. We're already in the shadow phase of it. Which things that show up in the shadow phase as it's gearing up for it. For example, I made this whole video for you guys and it didn't record. That is total Mercury retrograde bullshit right there. So I had to do it all over again. And here we are in the shadow phase of Mercury, but it's going to get heightened starting Thursday. The other thing coming in is we have a new moon in Cancer, but this new moon is also a solar eclipse, when the moon moves between the sun and the earth, and it kind of looks like this ring of light around the sun during a solar eclipse. And this signifies everything that comes in with a new moon, except more so, more powerfully. It's heightened. New moon in Cancer, solar eclipse in Cancer. We are now focusing in on the home front. What we are doing when we come home from work, when we come home from the public eye and we step into our personal life, we come home and we close the front door behind us. Everything that goes on in that realm is what we're kind of focusing in on. And there's an opportunity to start something new there, to plant new seeds there, to have a new beginning there. So we're not as focused or concerned on career or profession or our busy life or our status, our title, what we have to show up for in the way of our responsibilities in the outer world. We're bringing it back home. So there's a focus on what needs to be reshuffled, rebuilt, made new on the home front in personal relationships and intimate relationships, your inner circle, family, everything that has to do with once you close your front door? What is in that realm? And it's kind of like a reconfiguring of it, especially when there's an eclipse there, a solar eclipse there. And that's where the focus lies. So I'm going to say again, if you are a Cancer, a Capricorn, a Libra, or an Aries, pay extra attention to this retrograde and the solar eclipse new moon coming in, because it is going to affect you more so, especially if your sun sign is one of those, if your moon sign is one of those, or if your rising sign is one of those. And if you have personal planets there as well. And this is where you have to know your chart a little bit. So especially from 0 degrees of Cancer to right around 15 degrees of Cancer, those people with planets in that degree are going to be affected more so than the rest of us. We'll all be feeling it collectively, but those people for sure on a more personal level, the cardinal signs. So we're moving into feeling, we're moving into emotions, we're moving into what's personal for us and touching back into introspection and reflection, where not everyone's comfortable. And so it's time to get comfortable there, because that is what is coming in strongly. We can try to resist it and push away from it, but that is just going to make it harder on us. There's something to be said for going with the energy of the cosmos, right? Because that's when we learn the most, and that's where there's least resistance coming in, when we move with that particular energetic. So I hope that was helpful. And thank you for watching.